So this is the garden. That's the garden. This airport sounds funny. I'm better than that, right? Let me try the other ear. That feels a little better. Try that. Okay. So what I gotta do is water the garden. It looks very damp out here, but I don't trust it. So I decided to get some banana trees. And I was thinking about digging the holes. And then I got a harvest today. So let's check the compost. Oh, all those florals. I got a lot of florals. Okay, let me figure out how to do this. Okay, put it down right there so I can put the stuff in. I had some vegetables I didn't eat, so add that to the compost. That's the good thing. Nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes to waste. So I got to put dirt on this and water. Got to put some more dirt and water and turn it over. That's a whole nother job. Okay. That's a whole nother job. But it's time for harvesting. So we're going to get to harvesting. Oh, look at the. Okay, let's see. Let's see if anything is coming up. Let me just look around. I ain't been out here in 2, 3 days. It's fall, so that one's going to start dying out. It'll come back. These are carrots and potatoes. I need to get sweet potatoes. Yeah, my husband, he got it going. He's going to be the potato master, okay? He's going to be the potato master. These peppers are doing really good. I'm really happy with my harvest this year. It's been very fruitful, definitely. Okay, all right. We got peppers popping, and I've been cutting peppers off like every couple of days. Oh yes, yes, bell peppers. They're finally coming in. This is beautiful, beautiful. Hmm. Now this is strange. This sorrel in the middle is dying or something. I don't know why. These other two are doing really well, and we're finally starting to get some. Yeah, there they go. Those are the buds I'm looking for. They're coming in at the top. That's good. All right. The goji berry is producing. I haven't pulled any goji berries. I look for it to be full before I start pulling goji berries. Let's see if there's anything to harvest up here. We did not do well with watermelons this year. Ah, that watermelon. That one's done. This one's about done. I don't know what it is about watermelons. Not sure. All right, for harvesting anyway. Got tomatoes here. Let's see what else we got. Hope I'm not too late. Okay, these bell peppers are looking good. They're growing. There's a red pepper down there. Let's see what other peppers we have. I'll take that. Red pepper. I'm not sure if that's I'm not sure what that is. Okay, what else we got? Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna harvest this one. These got holes. I'm about to come put some 7 on these. Okay. I just removed stuff that's gonna go good. Okay. Oh no. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some 7 up here. They're eating stuff. Oh, I'm gonna put that in the recycle bin. I'll have to put some 7 on it. I try to go organic. Oh, what happened up here? Y'all drooping. What happened? Y'all drooping. It's not, is it too dry? Okay, I got a job to do then. Okay, tomatoes. Okay, so I think up here, y'all see the raspberry is giving way to the fall. It'll come back. Looks good though. Looks good. I'll have to get some water on those. I got how much? I got plenty of water in the water barrels. That's good. And you see the blackberries are dying back. That's normal. These apple trees are not doing anything yet this year. That's okay. Maybe next year. Okay. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, so we got the basil. The basil is at a point where it needs to. It's budding. My husband is growing potatoes successfully. He's doing a really good job. Okay. Now I planted a whole heap of shit right here. I planted cabbage, collard greens. What else? I planted a whole bunch of stuff. So far, those collard greens are coming in. Those collard greens are coming in. And then these bell peppers. Oh no. I think I need to start pulling them. This one's gone bad. Okay. So I'll recycle that into the compost. Let me go ahead and take these bell peppers off before I lose them. Let me take it off. Go ahead and harvest these bell peppers before I lose them. Okay. A bell pepper. Go ahead and harvest this one. Another bell pepper. Bell pepper. Let's see here. Bell pepper. Have another one. Yep. Bell pepper. Okay, so today is a bell pepper harvest day. Apparently. Let me see how many other bell peppers I have. This one. Okay. I'll let them go a little bit longer. I got a couple more. I'll let go a little bit longer. I can see if you set them out too long, they'll be done. All right. So that's pretty good. That's some bell peppers. All right, let's get the tomatoes. How y'all doing this morning? How's everybody doing? I like growing grape um, peppers because, grape uh, tomatoes because they're real simple. When you let them get too big, you have to put a lot of, what do you call it on them? A lot of chemicals to keep them. Because the bigger they are, the more the bugs like them. They're sweet. So you end up growing all them plants and you can barely harvest them. At least that's been my experience. In order to get them the full size and capacity. So I take these tomatoes and I cut them up so that I can put them in sauces. That's kind of what I do. and they mature pretty fast, so you don't really have time for bugs to come get them, long as you pick them when they're ripe. All right, so I got hmm. All right, and so I'm gonna pick these peppers. These are small peppers, a little spicy. They're called chilies. These are little chili peppers. They're so cute. Y'all see the gourds? The plant itself is kind of dying back. Do I want to pick these? Might as well. Let them sit too long. It won't be good. So I'm happy with my. All right, let's pick beans now. And I have to go inside, of course, and do my thing. Find somewhere to put them. All right, so we got beans. Put the beans in. Got these tomatoes. Another tomato. Hmm. Let's see. Any of these beans ready yet? Oh, it's a whole little colony down here. Hmm. No, they're not ready yet. Let me go this way. Okay, these are ready. So I'll go in the house and cut everything up and freeze it. Go. And I kind of just put them in the same bag that's already there. It says beans. It's still growing. Still growing. Still growing. I could take these. Okay. I'm having a little harvest today. It's cute. Got a ton of the tomatoes coming. So we got bell peppers, different types of peppers, tomatoes. All right, let's go to this side and see what's right, what is ready for me to pick. Let's see what's over here. Got the rosemary going. The cilantro is surviving and it's okay. For how much I planted, it should be more. I wonder, should I put some more seeds in there? Mm, I feel like I put enough. They said it's a winter variety, so. Oh yeah, I gotta get some 7. I'm seeing bugs eating shit. I don't need y'all eating my shit. And so me and my husband bought a huge a huge new freezer. So I have been I'm buying a label maker today, a professional label maker. I'm kind of tired of writing stuff down. It looks corny. So I figure I would get a label maker and use that to label all this different stuff. Let me go a different angle. Let me move this. Let me go a different angle so I can get to the other stuff. I need to pick some peppers on the other side too. All right. Yes, I got to do some work on the compost. I got to water everything. I'll be out here about an hour probably. Probably about an hour. Get these tomatoes out of here. See what I'm talking about? Something's eating, having a good time. Okay, there we go. Did I get everything? Nope. I'm glad I moved these peppers over here. I really am. Oh, it's more over there too. I feel like a smurf. I feel like a fucking smurf. Andre 420. Hey, what's up? You growing cherry tomatoes? Yes, I am growing cherry tomatoes. I'm trying to perfect my gardening. I've been gardening for years, but every year I learn more and more and more about how to grow. I like cherry tomatoes the most. I like Roma as well. All right, so I got my little harvest out. Whew. I got lots of bell peppers coming in. So they did really well. This is my first time being successful with bell peppers. I tried so many times and the big worms was eating them. Might have been my fault. You know, sometimes if you plant too early, like, uh-oh, I have them strawberries. I didn't drop two tomatoes. Oh, that one's bad. That's fine. Okay, let's go see about the peppers. The collard green is coming up. Potatoes, my husband has going a good. Let's see. I think I'm gonna try to grow another bed of cilantro right there and another one right here. All right, let's see what else needs to be popped. The chilies, that one's not ready yet. Okay, a couple of chilies. I'll take this one. Come on, give it up, turn it loose. I'll leave those. Okay, let's see. I grew raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, lettuce, and herbs. What? Say what, Andre? Wow, that's cool. Wow. Okay, so raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, lettuce, and herbs. Let me ask you this: did you have a problem with the birds when it comes to your raspberries? They don't screw with the blueberries. At least I have never seen it. But they seem to be eating my raspberries. I count my raspberries. I know that's stupid, but I count my raspberries like every day when they're growing. And I'm like, okay, I got one more day before I can pick them. Then I come back, they're gone. I'm like, what the fuck? It's the birds, the motherfucking birds. It's the birds doing the bullshit. It's the goddamn birds. All right, so this pepper looks done. I'll take it off. And I'm trying to be patient too because um, I also think that sometimes these peppers would turn colors if left long enough. Oh, I need to get some scissors. Hold on. Oh, that's spicy. It's hot. That thing was hot. I could feel it on my nail. It's getting kind of loaded. I think I better take it off before it falls over. I need to put a stick in it, huh? I need to put a stick on it. But I got to be patient, right? Because they might turn colors. It might turn orange or some other color. Because I ain't labeled my shit right. I'm going to have to put a stick in it. Yeah, I'm going to have to put a stick in it. He said, I learned from growing weed. I left out my BM still harvesting off what I did years ago. Wow. Okay. I used to buy a lot of smoothies, so I figured to grow my own. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. If I could just get a pecan tree, I would be really happy if I could get a pecan tree. That's what I really want, a pecan tree. All right, so I got a pretty good harvest today. Pretty good. I don't really harvest herbs unless I need them, so I just leave those alone. What herbs did you grow, Andre? I used to buy a lot of smoothies. Yeah, yeah. You might as well. You do your, especially blueberries and stuff. You grow your own blueberries. Okay, I'm gonna just put this. And this is another area I have. I told my husband I think I want to clear this area off and get a hot tub. That's what I want to do. With like a gazebo. We might put this gazebo on top of it. I don't know. But this right here, this is all lettuce. Well, I got my labels. Let me see. What is that? Oh, that's spinach. So this is spinach that's going to come up here. These are all winter vegetables. Kale's going to come right here. And Swiss chard and lettuce. So under that's my lettuce. And this right here is my herbs. That's rosemary. Uh, what is that one? What is this one? It's flowering and seeding. What is the name of that? Parsley. And all of this is oregano. I wanted my oregano to go pretty. And that's thyme right there. And then this one, oh, whoa, whoa, this motherfucker done fell over. That's my, I gotta put a stick in it. That's my deal. My deal has gotten quite big. So I'm gonna have to do something about that. I honestly don't know what the fuck this is. I planted it, but I don't know what it is. I'm gonna pull it up. Pull that up. I don't know what that is. Okay, so that's dill, sage, and sage. So I'm gonna have to help my deal. My deal is kind of, he's a little lost. I forgot I grew a bunch. All I remember is thyme, but what I really want to do is have how you say that? Aqua, aquaponics, aquaponics, aquaponics. I think that's when people, isn't that when people grow um, all of their food in a water, like a water tank? I think that's aquaponics. I'm not sure. Okay, so now it's time for me to water the garden. I'm having a chill stream. Um, you're not growing in the ground. Okay, yeah, that's aquaponics. Yeah. So I'm having a chill stream today. This is a chill stream. I'm not doing anything. I'm not gonna be ranting and raving like I normally do. It's very early in the morning. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day, and I have every intention on having a beautiful day, a chill day. So I'm going with my husband in a little while. We got to go around, deliver and pick up. This is a light weekend, so he lets me help on the light weekend. And I hate to say it, but lets me is absolutely the truth. Um, as much as I like to work, um, I like to do tough work. My husband, he ain't with it. We're both two intelligent people, so it's always like some kind of battle of the wise, you know. How in how many ways can I husband passively aggressively stop her from working? Not word. There's no words to it either. There's not even words. And I'm always surprised at the new tactics he has, but it's okay. He's like, get to the invoices, focus on the invoices. No work for you. I'm like, that's why I'm fat. If you let a bitch work, I wouldn't be fucking fat, okay? No, I can't blame him for being fat. And you know what? I I was thinking recently about image and stuff, and I find it so interesting how people are very paranoid. And I don't think it's about like doxing, but I think really people are paranoid about judgment. People are so worried about showing themselves. I don't. I guess I just can't understand it. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm too old. I understand privacy, but it'd be different if everybody had like a respect for privacy. You said you're not growing. No, I meant you. Aquaponics is when you either have hobby fish or eating fish such as tilapia, and the waste supplies your garden with nitrogen so you can include worms to feed the fish fish if you choose fish to eat. Oh, grow your own your own fish. Oh, that's I never thought about that. Growing your own fish. That's a smart. Why did that never cross my mind? I don't know how much water you need to grow your own fish. I don't know if that's like a pool size or like a small pond. I seen koi fish, but people don't eat those. I don't know how do you get healthy fish. That's something. And people might have to start doing that to sustain themselves, because fish has gotten crazy. Salmon. I made salmon for my husband about 2 weeks ago. I don't eat fish, okay? I don't really eat fish. I can eat it, but I don't really care for it. The one fish I like, that finally found that I like, it's called swai. And everybody said it was the roach of the damn ocean. I was like, oh my fucking God. They were like, that shit's toxic. It's no good. I was like, it tastes so good. They were like, that's trash. That's the trash of the sea. And I was like, damn. I thought I finally found me a fish I could eat. And they took it from me just in a word. They said, that's trash. That's a trash fish. So swai was about to be my new thing. That was about to be my boo. I was about to make casseroles and fish rolls and fish nuggets. I was about to go wild on swai because it has no fish flavor. I don't like the taste of fish. Excuse me. I haven't had my tea this morning. I don't like the taste of fish. I just don't. This is St. John's Wood right here. It's gotten dark, very dark, because of the fall. And I don't touch it because I don't know what it'll do to me. I do not fuck with this. I grow this whole big ass bush, and it's growing and it's doing its thing, but I don't have the chemistry, the knowledge. I cannot fuck with it. I'll fuck around and die. He said the worms eat some of the excess waste, and the growing medium cleans the tank. Okay, it's self cleaning. That's cool. So it's kind of like a little what do you call it? Um, biosphere. Self-sustaining biosphere. Look it up. I spend weeks on horticulture forums learning how to grow. I prefer hobby fish because I like fish, but if you want to eat them, it's definitely worth it. Okay, you call them hobby fish. That's interesting. Hobby like fun just to have. Okay, is that what you mean by hobby fish, or is that like the actual like genre of the or genus or whatever of the fish? That's the actual scientific name. I don't know, hobby fish, or is that like hobby fish, like a hobby, like it's fun to grow for a hobby? Okay, where was I at with this pouring? I got to pour libations, pour libations, pour libations. But one of the things I thought about is like, why are people so guarded about how they look? Um, I understand privacy, but most people don't actually care about privacy because they're telling everything else. They share everything else. So it's not about necessarily privacy. I don't think it's about doxing. I think people are absolutely afraid of judgment. And that's why I said maybe it's because I'm old, because I think that the newer generations have gotten to a place where they don't feel like they're going to meet the fantasy, right? The fantasy of the world. The world expects them to be X, Y, and Z, and they're not going to be X, Y, and Z. You know, you got to be this tall, you had this color, da da da. And just, this idea of beauty, this idealization of beauty or attractiveness for men. And I think people just don't want judgment because as soon as you show your picture, you know, we know what characterization is. People will try to caricature you. Oh, look at your big ears. Stupid shit. I think that's partly people's childishness. And I really don't understand this whole idea of image and worry about image and perfection. Most of this shit is AI generated. And the people who come online and they have these looks or these bodies, whatever, they're not the average person. The average person is just average. And I think that's one of the things that, people have refused to accept. We're all average. We're all pretty fucking average. We're not that different from each other. I would say that there's probably like 3% of the population is considered beautiful and perfect. And I don't know. I'm in my fucking 40s. I don't care about shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But then again, I don't necessarily, I got to understand that too. I don't necessarily have a history of people calling me ugly or saying you're funny look. I never was picked on. Um, I always tried to dumb down my looks, honestly. And when I say that, I'm talking about like when I was growing up 18, 19, 20, and stuff like that. 16, I always was covering my body. I didn't want attention. I never wanted attention. You know what I mean? As a young girl, I was taught in Islam that your body is for yourself. It's not an object for society. It's not this. It's not that. So I always was trying to do everything to minimize. I'm not saying I was so beautiful that I had to hide from the world. That's not what I mean. I just mean I was taught a mentality that women do not need to impress the world. I do not need to put on makeup. I do not need to put on lashes. I don't. This is Islamic. God made you in perfect image and light. And those who will really appreciate you will see that image and light. You don't have to enhance it. You don't have to, do all these extra things. You don't have to fake it. I mean, I'm not picking at women, but in truth and honesty, they got fake teeth now, they got fake teeth. There's fake, I'm talking about they. When I say they, I mean it's available for manufacturing. Um, There's fake teeth, there's fake eyebrows, fake eyelashes. There's makeup to contour and change the whole definition of your face. Yeah, the lashes, the eyebrows, the hair, the nails. Um, you can even buy baby hairs to stick on the side of your head. I just be like, wow, you know, wigs. I mean, you can just pretty much just go into like a whole identity, just change your whole identity, like costume. And that's what a lot of women do. They costume for the world. And God forbid, if you see a person without all of that stuff, who told you you had to look like you was getting ready for a beauty pageant every day? That's a sick world. And it's kind of damaging to women, to women. It's damaging to us to do that to ourselves. Imagine how we could invest our money differently. I would probably be pretty, not so good off if I was spending $200-300 a month on my hair and $200-300 on my nails and what else? Buying $200-300 worth of wigs and uh eyelashes and all the getting my eyelashes done. I have a friend, sorry to say, but she pays $300 to get her eyelashes put in one by one, you know. But imagine how financially uh less women have, how much less resources they have from doing all of that. The nails, the acrylic. I thank God that I thank God that I did come across Islam because I think I don't have to I think I don't have to deal with all of that. The what do you call it? What is the word? Vanity. Vanity. I don't really have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with vanity and insecurity. I don't have to do that. I don't have to, fashion for the world and all of that. And I've never done that. I've never, in my life, I've never actually had a wig or a weave. Never, no hair pieces. When Janet Jackson was at Poetic Justice, I remember I got braids done. I got braids professionally done then. I think I had to be like 15. I'm thinking because after that I cut my hair off, my permed hair, and I grew my hair natural from that point. And I used those poetic justice braids. They call them box braids. I used those box braids to help grow my hair out while I had a perm. And once I got enough hair and I kept rebraiding those box braids, I got it done professionally by somebody. I don't remember who it was. And then I did it. I learned how to do it myself. And that was a time when people weren't really, into the natural thing. But I cut that off. And by 16, yeah, I started growing locks. 16, 17, I started growing locks. And I've never had a weave. I've never had a wig. I have no desire for that. I don't even like glasses and hats. You know what I mean? I can't wear glasses. I got prescription glasses just to correct my 25/20 vision. But I don't even, I don't want glasses on my face. I just don't like extra stuff. I don't like appendages. Now, I did get eyelashes when I had my wedding. I went and I got my makeup and I went and got my makeup and I got my eyelashes done. And I was so annoyed the whole time because the eyelashes, they swoop down in such a way. I was just trying to be extra pretty on a wedding day. Um, but what I found out is that the eyelashes swoop down in front of your eyes. And because they swoop down in front of your eyes, you can't actually fucking see. Do y'all know that? You can't fucking see the world regular. Seriously. You can't fucking see the world. So your whole world is shaped by this brown swoop or black swoop, whatever color your eyelashes are. So everything you see in life when you look out from those eyelashes, they're in the way. And I was like, people actually look like this? That is such a burden. That is such a burden that half of the world is covered by eyelash. Man, I think I got them eyelashes put on at like shit 9, 10 in the morning on my wedding day. I don't think I kept them bitches on 12 hours. I took them shits off as soon as I could. I wish I had snatched them off during the wedding because I was so annoyed. I was trying to, we paid a lot for a photographer and stuff, and I didn't pay too much for the makeup. I didn't go crazy with it. I got my makeup and my eyelashes professionally done. So I was like, maybe just for the sake of the pictures, it was hard. But I knew one thing: I was not about to wear no high heels. I was not about to wear no high heels. I got some beautiful flat gold shoes with like the bedazzled gold shoes. But my wedding dress was so long that you wouldn't see them anyway. But I was not about to be walking around with no heels on. So that's another thing too. That's another curse. Women walking around with these crazy heels, hiking your foot in the air. So strange. And it's not women's fault. It's just that this Western culture has always tortured women with so-called beauty standards. Anyway, but yeah, I'm not giving in to any of that. None of that is I kind of adapted Islamic culture and I maintain a lot of it. Not all. I'm not a very good Muslim. I think I told you all that. My ass is a diehard heathen. I've never been a good Muslim. I hate it too. I hate it. I wanted to be a good Muslim. I would have stayed Muslim if I had have been a good one, but I didn't want to defile the damn religion. Look at this fucking heathen. You got the nerve. You know when you're a fucking heathen too. When you struggle too much to do stuff by the rules, you're a heathen. You be like, but I really want to drink. Well, Muslims don't drink. What are you doing, man? Okay, you suck. You fucking suck, man. You fucking suck. You're not a good Muslim. Just give it up. All right, so let me see. I gotta water this area. I don't water the strawberries anymore because they're not doing anything. They'll come back anyway. All right, what else I gotta water? I did the beans. Okay, I gotta water up here. And then I go to the top and water. But yeah, I'm going out. I like to ride in the truck with my husband. That's fun. I get in, he be like, here we go. He swear, he be like, man, you just be always busy. You be doing stuff. I'm like, yeah, Pooh, that's why you love me. I keep your life exciting. Uh, but I tell you one thing, it is a blessing to be married. I don't know. And that's the thing, social media, you come online, it's like certain stuff, you gotta think about all these different audiences, or you don't, right? Choice is choice. But you have all these people and everybody's so opinionated. And so when you say stuff, you have to kind of have double think, right? Because it's like, well, if I say this, I know that so and so is gonna be rolling their eyes, or these type of people are gonna be like bullshit or whatever. But um, I don't know. I guess truth is an individual experience. I think being married is an absolute blessing, and a lot of people, um, I would say not a lot of people. I would say this modern day energy is uh is a lot of pessimism. You know, there's a lot of pessimism, and people have to think about that when you're listening to people. Do I live in an era and a time of pessimism where people are snarky about every fucking thing? Well, maybe you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you live in a time and everybody's kind of down and people don't have a healthy outlook on the world. You know, people are cynical. People don't believe in stuff anymore. Or maybe people just have individual, fears and concerns, and they get on the internet and they project that shit on everybody. And I guess you can only have your own experiences and your own testimony. That's what's the most valid anyway. Everybody else's experiences don't have anything to do with you. And so I stand by that. Some people think marriage is a prison and marriage sucks and it's just somebody trying to take advantage of you and use you and drag you. I think it's funny. that people think like that. Marriage has been the blessing of my life. It's kept me balanced, kept me focused, kept me growing, kept me confident. You know, marriage has done some good shit for me. Just having another person that's dedicated to you and your growth and your development and love and affection and all kind of stuff. And I think one thing is for me, um, I had a course correction. You know, I had a course correction on many levels. So I won't go deep into it, but my first marriage, it was kind of, we lived in the same house, very distant African older man. He was very sweet, loving. We're still in contact. We have no bitterness between us. He's still family, but he lives here in Atlanta. He's very successful. Um, he took care of me. You know, he took care of me, and I will never forget that. I will never not appreciate who he is and who he was to me. And he's alive. I mean, was like we were married. That's what I mean. And so we have a very healthy relationship, you know? And I'm one of those people, I don't throw people away. I don't understand that about Western culture. You know, Western culture is so like cut off. And I know I say that because I kind of shielded myself a lot of my growing years from the world. So those formative years, 16, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, up to like 22. Okay. I was very much in an Islamic world, Eastern thought, not watching TV, not participating in regular American life. And so when I speak like I'm not a Westerner, that's why. I lived in, what's it called? Seclusion. I lived in seclusion for much of my early life, Islamic seclusion. So it's a lot of seclusion doesn't just mean hiding away from the world. It also means shielding yourself, shielding your energy, not participating, you know, that type of stuff. And you see Jewish Orthodox people, they kind of live that type of life. They shield themselves off from the world. They are active among themselves, right? We have parties and gatherings and we socialize among ourselves, but our world becomes the norm. You know what I mean? Now, if you're in an Islamic country, you don't have to do seclusion so much, right? Because um, the whole world around you is going to the mosque 5 times a day. The whole world around you is fasting or acting like they have good fucking sense, you know. So when you're in the Western world, you know you're inundated with a lot of stuff. So you have to just kind of reprogram yourself by avoidance. I guess that's the best way to call it. And so when I speak of myself as a non-Western person, that's why. And a lot of that has stuck with me. A lot of it, most of it has stuck with me. I just cannot be culturally. I'm Islamic, but I just cannot. You know, I just cannot. I cannot be completely Western, and I cannot be completely Eastern. So I'm somewhere in the middle, and I've had to make peace with that. You know, I've had to make peace with being somewhere in the middle. Um, so it's a beautiful day. But I was saying about the whole marriage thing. Yeah, that relationship it was a blessing in its own ways. In some ways, it was it had some faults. You know, it wasn't perfect. Okay, I got over there. What do I got to do now? Oh, I got to do this area. Um, it wasn't perfect. Nothing's perfect. And that's the thing. People idealize marriage. They put so much on it. This person's got to be my bread, my butter, my best friend, my this, my that. Y'all, chill out. Chill the fuck out. You want people to be God, you know? People are not God. That's your spouse. They have a duty and a purpose, and that's it. Don't make too much of it. Don't make too much of it. Let people be. Oh shit, I forgot my husband's potatoes. Oh, these are carrots too. Okay. But as I was saying, I lived so, that earlier part of my life in seclusion. So um I would go to college and then go home. And that was the epitome of me. And it was quite boring. And I think that part of it drew me away from Islam. I was so bored. And I don't regret any of that. I think everything is in perfect timing and God makes no mistakes. So I don't regret any part of that boring part of my life. Um, and so when I decided that I wanted to break out and go wild, I was like, fuck this. I'm Western. I can't deal with this, you know. Despite I started at a young age becoming indoctrinated into Islam, I still had this Western world that was pulling on me. And I wanted to know, what does alcohol taste like? What is this? What is that? You know? What does the club look like? How does that feel? I'm in Atlanta, it's black folks. What does Freaknik feel like? I used to go and sit at Freaknik and I never got involved, completely covered. And I just be looking. I swear to God, I just be looking like, what are they doing? Look at that. You know, I would just sit on the bench near areas where they had Freaknik and I would just look. I never, participated. I would just look at them. I would just be looking. And I think stuff like that, that's why seclusion is necessary. Because when you start looking, then you get curious. You know, you start getting curious. You say, "Ooh, wow, them motherfucking what do you call them? What do you call them? Heathens. Them heathens are having a good time. I sure am bored. I sure am fucking bored with the world I'm living in. You know." And it starts looking, it starts dazzling. Before you know, you start creeping over there. And you start slipping. You start slipping. And that's one thing I couldn't make sense of it. I was too young. I was like, is this the world that I'm supposed to live in where I am torn between two worlds? I'm surrounded by Western culture and the only way I can, live is to hide from it and pretend I don't want to participate at all. I was like, am I being honest? Am I living a lie? You know? I started to deal with it, and I was like, "Nah, man, you got to be honest with yourself. You're just not that deep into it. You're not. I don't want to sit all day long and recite Quran. Like, there's no desire there. Who are we fooling? I do not want to sit on the carpet and recite Quran for 5 hours a day. I don't want to do that. Who am I fooling? Who am I doing this for? So, anyway, by the time I turned 21, I got my bachelor's degree, and that was the time I was like, "All right, brother. I think it's time for me to move on. And I'm not moving on from you. I'm moving on from this lifestyle. And I know I can't be with you if I'm not in this lifestyle." Because he was a strict Islamic Muslim, you know? And it is. Everything has a reason and a season. And I don't regret any of that. And we forgive each other. We've talked about it. We've had healing conversations. There's no love lost. And the honest to God truth, I don't want to speak no negative, but if my current husband was to croak, I love my Niz to death. I love him so much. But if he was to croak after my mourning period and all of those things were to happen, having to be un, unmarried due to widowhood, I know 100% I'd be calling my ex-husband up. "Hey, Kabu, how are you?" I'm just telling you. Because the familiarity, the family, the love, the trust is there. And I doubt there are very many Western people who probably would consider going back, in widowhood to their ex. But I am one of those women because I love people for real. I love people for real. I see people for real. I'm not saying others don't, but I don't let bitterness and stuff. I say in each relationship, did I earn a lesson? Did I learn a lesson? You know, at any moment, I could rekindle a relationship with the ex. I only have three, well, two, but I could rekindle that if I wanted to, because I don't have bitterness. I don't leave people stomping their heads. I don't burn bridges with people. That's not how I operate in the real life. Ain't no need for all that burn. Like, why you gotta burn it down? Why do people want to burn folks down? It didn't work out for us. I'm gonna burn it down. I started a family with you and we ended up in divorce. So fuck them kids. Why do people want to do that? Hey, what's up, Gabe? I'm looking at my screen. Hey, what's up? Good morning. I'm just having a chill stream while I'm out here in the garden. I ain't talking about much, just rambling and babbling like us women do. Oh, yeah. I gotta be out here for an hour. Might as well strike up a live and be with people, have some speak. So this is my Sorrel. It's doing okay. The buds are coming. I'm glad for that. And I'm getting banana trees. I can't wait. They be hanging out of my car, out the windows. I'm gonna get some 5 foot ones, some big ones. I think they cost $20 a piece. That's not bad. All right, so up the hill we go. Well, let's look at the goji berries. That's the goji berries. Hmm. They're coming in. They're cute, but I don't. I already got goji berries that are dried from last year, so I'm not really excited about it. I already harvested all the peppers. Nope, I got a few more to harvest. I see it now. Got a few more peppers to harvest. Let's see. Tomatoes. The watermelon did not do good. We failed. We started out with 20, and that's the last one. And look at it, small, tiny, and fucked up. So fuck watermelons. We're not gonna do this no more. What's that? I don't know what this is. What the fuck is this? Oh snap! That's the garlic. The garlic is growing. Okay, I thought that was dead. I thought the garlic was fucking dead. Oh well, it's coming. But anyway, so correction when it comes to relationships, I was saying my ex-husband situation. I was in Islamic, very what is it called? Orthodox, very strict, and I lived in seclusion. And I got bored as fuck, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to the world. I'm going to be a heathen too, full time. And I knew that marriage could not last because he's an Orthodox and very serious about Islam, and so I always failed with Ramadan. That's how I knew I wasn't shit. Every time Ramadan would come, I would sneak and eat. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to fast into starvation. I could never do it. I would sneak and eat. That's how I knew I was a part heathen. You see what I'm saying? And you can't be performing. I'm gonna look like. Ain't no telling how many Muslims do that. They're, oh, I'm so hungry. You lie. You ate lunch. There's no telling how many do it. But I knew the truth of me. You know what I'm saying? I was horrible at Ramadan. I was horrible. Anyway, so I moved on to my ex-boyfriend. I ain't gonna get into no long story, but he was a control freak. He was obsessed. May. I have dinner for us, May. We have this for that, May. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I mean, he planned every moment of my day. He wanted to be wherever I was. And he wasn't no simp either. He's Chicago, South Side nigga. And he was just like he's an artist and very worldly, um, flashy, like I don't know, he was interested. He manifests everything that he wants, desires. He's powerful in that way, you know. He's like, pick out a loft downtown, I'm getting it for us. And he's like, that's how we're gonna move in together. That's how he told me we're gonna move in together. He told me to go pick out a loft in downtown, and I did, and I paid no bills, and I was very, very spoiled. But I had to, I always tell people, I guess I've learned that in older age. I'm 40, 47. And see, even that, people are ashamed of their age. I'm fucking 47. That means I have earned some shit in my life. I have learned some shit in my life. I got some stripes, baby. I got some knowledge, some real experience. I don't know why people are ashamed of their age. I guess it's just Western culture. Everyone's supposed to pretend they're fucking young. We're all supposed to lie and say we 20. You motherfucking don't look 20. What are you talking about? You know? And I pick at some old people sometimes as a joke. Like I call BGS like you old bastard or whatever I used to say. I don't call him names anymore, but I used to at first. When he used to, I really didn't think of him as a person. And I started looking at people more like people and not just like avatars. I mean, I think that's the evolution of mind, because you can dehumanize people more when you don't think of them as human and having real functional thoughts and feelings. But yeah, so Yeah, I don't want to characterize my ex-boyfriend as a wasn't a simp or anything. He was just like very much like I'm in control. I run shit. I'm paying stuff. I'm taking care of shit. Just ride with me. You ride with me. You ride with me. I'm gonna take you wherever you want to go. We're gonna travel. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. But the that's what I was gonna say. Age. I'm 47. I learned when I always say that I mean that shit. You have to pay the piper. Nothing is fucking free. Okay, nothing is fucking free. If there's one lesson I have learned in life, that there is a give and there's a take. There's a reciprocity. There is a payment due, baby. It is a payment due. And you will never get out of the payment. You owe and you're going to pay and you will pay. That's why I laugh sometimes. I see people talking about, leveling up and, getting up, getting over on men and all that shit. You don't know what a bitch goes through. Okay. You do not know what a bitch goes through to live a taken care of life. And I'm not demonizing anybody. I'm just telling you, you don't know what a bitch goes through. Yeah, you can go shopping at Lennox and he can just buy you this and buy you that. I've had that experience, right? I can't even look at something. He's like, get it. And I'm like, I don't want it. You're going to get it. And the next thing you know, it's in his fucking bag. That type of shit. He wants to floss. He wants to flex. So anytime you look at I'm getting gifts I don't fucking like and don't want and being told you will wear it or else. And so there's this, you know, you give up control over yourself. You give up your autonomy. So when I see women thinking they're gonna willpower, I got this pussy, I'm gonna do this, bitch. You don't know what you're talking about. All of y'all are theorizing. I got some stripes. That's all I'm gonna say. I got some stripes. Y'all are fucking theorizing. Y'all don't know what you're talking about. It ain't sweet like that. It looks like that. You can Instagram it like that, but there is some control that nobody will ever see. You know, and you get to the point where you're almost in an infantile state. I know about that. Where you don't have choices. People tell you what you're gonna do. And that's the trade-off. That's the paying the piper. Okay. This chick talking about, yeah, he paid my apartment, he paid my car. And the moment you don't do what? The moment you don't do fill in the blank, that car note ain't getting paid. You got problems on your hands. The moment you have a mind of your own, a thought, a decision different than what he intends, yeah, you're gonna pay the piper. You're gonna learn to shut the whole fuck up. I'm just telling you. You're gonna learn to suppress yourself. You're gonna learn to dim your own light. You're gonna pay the piper. So those are trade-offs. People don't want to talk about real shit. They want to get on the internet or in life and try to fake and floss. They're not talking about that power dynamic of those relationships. They want to show champagne glasses and all that type of shit. And I don't care. Let me say this. Anybody who knew me back then, I'm not demonizing or saying anything negative about my ex-boyfriend, but because he took care of me, he absolutely took very good care of me. I'm not saying anything about him, because I have had so much experiences in so many places I went, and so much I got exposed to. I wanted to live the fast life. I wanted to be at every concert. He made all of that happen. I wanted to go to the hottest restaurants. I don't even fucking remember cooking because we ate out 3 meals a day on his dime. I didn't have a job. I was just, I did not have a fucking job. And everything was so easy for me. I just went to college. I just went to school. I didn't have to pay no. I've been a taken care of woman my whole life until I met this husband. I insisted. I I want to go 50-50. I insisted on that. I insisted on it. I insisted on it because for me, paying the piper, that marriage and that 5 year, relationship, I don't want to play the power dynamic game anymore. I just didn't want to do it. And if I do play a power dynamic game, I wanna let's role play that. Can we role play that, baby? Can we role play it? Can it not be that fucking real? And those are the experiences I've had. Being a kept woman is not what people think. It's just not. And that's why, like I said, I know everybody's experiences are different, but it's not what they're saying. It's not what they're saying. They putting all that dazzle and finesse on it, and then they putting a feminist spin on it. I think that shit is anti-feminist completely. You know, it's anti-feminist. It really is. They try to put a feminist spin. I'm liberated. I got a man taking care of me. I'm keeping my resources. I'm living my best life on his dime. That is not what the fuck is happening. It's not fucking happening like that. Um, they're telling lies. They're not telling the whole truth. And a lot of those women that get in those situations, they're gonna walk away. I mean, y'all have seen some of these trad wives, right? These trad wives that later on, and I'm not even talking about trad wives, because I'm saying you could be a live-in girlfriend. I mean, that's pretty much what I was. I was a live-in girlfriend. You know, I was a live-in girlfriend, living in a big ass loft downtown in the height of, Black Atlanta. I walked down the street. I was living my best life, baby. I walked down the street with my little fashion on, because now I can wear what the fuck I want. He would buy me all kind of fashion. Um, I was Erica by doing it. Got bracelets and tribal marks. So I was wild. I had tribal marks on my face. Oh man, some of the stuff I was sewing. I was making my own clothes. I was doing all kind of wild shit. I had so much time on my hands. And I just like walk down here. I was living downtown, so I just walked to my spots, like how people live in New York. I walked to my spots. I had other black businesses I go in, like what is it called? Oh, I forgot the name of it. My shoe clothing by this Nigerian guy. I used to go in there. Hey y'all, what's up? I was making friends downtown. So I had my favorite places I eat, and different places I would frequent and hang out, bars I would drink at. So I was a downtown living my best life. And for me to be that age, most college students would be broke. Well, I was 21. So I was getting into graduate school. That's what it was. I was getting into graduate school. And I was working as a journalist at some point in there, because I did an internship turned into a job. And so I was a writer. And I started like flying all over the United States to cover hip hop and red carpet shit. So I was living a fast life, y'all. I ended up at a lot of them parties and events. After part, I was at a lot of that. I got into the industry and I saw a lot. That's why I said this bitch got stripes. Okay, I did a lot. Don't be fooled by these fucking plants and gardens and shit and all this cooking. This is old bitch. Okay, this is old bitch, man. I have done it all. Okay. Oh my god, I have done it all. And that industry, boy, that motherfucking entertainment industry taught me a whole lot about paying the piper. If there's one fucking lesson that I have learned in life, it is the paying of the piper. You're gonna pay for everything. Nothing in this life is easy, and nothing is free. I don't care what it looks like. And I'm not pessimistic. I'm just letting you know you got to pay. You got to pay. You gonna pay. And so in the industry, I actually, at that time I was very much into feminism in theory, anyhow, having graduated from a women's college. And so I interview a lot of women who were in the industry. That's why I say a lot of stuff is fake, y'all. Like I'm telling y'all something y'all don't know, but I'm talking about from my experience. A lot of shit is fake. I have found this to be a fact because I would interview these women and they're like, perfect bodies, they got makeup artists. All this, the industry's paid for all this shit to fix them up, to dress them up and take them out. They're on the industry's dollar, and they can't sleep. You know, they can't sleep. They're actually on somebody's schedule. They're under complete control. And what I found was, to be honest, was a lot of sexual enslavement. And because I was a writer, they would say, and we would talk, and they would just be like, "Wow, you're so down to earth," and stuff like that. So they don't get a chance to interact with the public a lot when they're first coming up in the industry. They're kind of shielded away from the public. You'll notice they stay in VIP stuff. They go to private parties. They go to events that are kind of manicured. They kind of try to get you into this mentality that you're different than the rest of the world. So you don't go, for the most part, where other people go, average everyday people. So you don't even get like friends. So when people talk about they're in the industry and they feel isolated and alone, that's by design. And so one of the things me and this sister, I'll just call her I. Me and I used to travel together, work for the same company as writers. And she was a groupie. I was not a groupie. Um, she wanted to be at all the industry parties and she wanted to go to this and go to that. So when I didn't travel with her because we were writing partners, I would just stay at the hotel and mind my business, right? But when I was traveling with her to Philadelphia or Miami or LA or wherever else we had to go on assignment, for these red carpet events. When I would go with her, she'd be like, "Come on, Nay, let's go. We need to go to this. We can get." There's always more interviews. We're gonna get more interviews. We need to get in, meet some more people, so we can connect. And I was like, "Girl, connect with what? I just this is a job." And so she's the one who would always talk me into going to these after parties and stuff like that. And she wanted to be riding in the limos with the who's who. Because once and that's the thing, it's crazy. A lot of people wonder why does the makeup artist end up being the girlfriend, right? Why does the maid end up being the fuck buddy? Why is the person who does your hair your best friend? You see what I'm saying? It's because of the isolation. It's the isolation. You don't get to interact with the real world anymore. And then you got people who have ulterior motives, or they just try to talk to you because they want to get signed to. You can't trust anybody. You can't really be around your family. People are hating on you. The industry reinforces that you're alone and that you're all that they have. It really fucking sucks. So my point is this: the people who are in the industry, they tend to understand the isolation. They're very lonely and they're fucking bored and feel exploited. But they can't talk about that. So what happens is the people who do their hair, the people who they're stylists, you'll see they go to the club with their stylist. The people who serve the industry are the people who become their friends. That's what I'm trying to say. And so when you're a writer, you're kind of neutral. And you become very attractive to these people, not like sexually, but they actually are like, oh, maybe this could be a friend. I'm just being honest. And so I would have a lot of females who were in mostly hip hop, R&B, and I'm not gonna say none of their names because they're all for the most part. Only like one of them is mediocre, not successful now. But I interviewed a lot of them. Okay, and they would confide in me and they would tell me some fuck shit that happened to them because a lot of these producers and people who own the studios and the people who frequent the studios and the people who work for the industry, meaning the record label, they actually take full advantage of their power over these people, especially management. So it's not unusual that some of these women, they were telling me, are passed around, you know, their managers fucking them for real, and they don't want to fuck their manager. Might not be attractive to them, you know, and that means that it's hard for you to be in a relationship because these people are all fucking on you, you know, and they book your hotel room. They all have keys to your room. You understand? It gets deep. It gets deep. And that's how rapes and stuff happen. The industry has keys to the hotel. The shit is not in your name. It's not your credit card. It's somebody else's. So they can slip that little, everybody gets a copy of your room. I'm just saying, the shit happens. And so some of the stories and some of the shit they were sharing with me, because I'm a neutral party. I don't work for the record label. Um, and of course, I wasn't known. I'm not TMZ. You wouldn't talk to somebody who works for TMZ. You wouldn't tell them shit because you know what they'll do. They'll blast your business. But it was kind of like on some black woman conversation. And I'm sure other black women who are writers have had some similar situations. They want to confide in you, you know? And you professionally have to put up a barrier and just be like, well, thanks. And hey, how can we connect? And I'm like, no, no, I'm just doing this real quick. We're not going to be friends. I wasn't a groupie. That's why I said earlier on, I'm not a groupie. See, my other girl, she was like, yeah, girl, let's talk, let's have lunch. She wanted to be part of the industry, so she would use those connections as a writer to become a friend with a celebrity. I was not interested. I wasn't interested. I actually felt sorry, and I talked about that before. I felt sorry for a lot of these people, male and female, And it's only recent. I never even imagined that men were being raped or taken advantage of sexually by other men. I never imagined that. And I never had any of these conversations with men either. I had these conversations with women because sometimes we be, red carpet or we're waiting for something or what is it called, press junket, and we're in a hotel lobby or something, and we're just sitting there, we're talking, or sometimes you do these conversations in the hotel room. If they have a presidential suite, you come up to the presidential suite and you do the interview by arrangement via their management. And I did see with Ziggy Mart. Well, I shouldn't say names. Now I don't want to say it. Um, Well, let me just make it smaller and say it simpler. He was not allowed to be without his management. I literally had this white woman who's sitting behind his head. this person's head, and she was going over the questions literally that I had to submit ahead of time. And she did not want him to say anything or me asking anything that was off script. I submitted those questions, and she was literally reading. And then I think at some point I asked the question about, um, I don't remember what the question was about, but it was about lineage and something like that. And she was like, let's just skip that. And I was like, and the client just was like, this is the person who's telling me what to do and telling you what to do. And this is how it is. And I was on the tour bus actually. And I was like, wow, your managers actually talk for you. And I had one, I won't say that person either. That's a man. But yeah, man. Ah, I don't even want to think about some of this stuff because I was kind of vaguely aware. Okay, I don't think this is gonna be a big deal. Okay, there's this guy named Marcus Houston. He spells his name like Marquez, but it's Marcus Houston, and he's part of this three male group or whatever. And I believe the guy's name is Christopher. I think his name is Christopher something, but he was his manager. And later on, they had, I have to look it up. It was Christopher. Was it Christopher Hugh? No, Marcus Houston. Um, man, what was dude's name? Oh shit, I can't remember. There was a guy who's his manager, big fat ass. I'm sorry, big fat guy, and he, man, his name is on the tip of my tongue. Um, he was his manager, and I remember I was calling, I was asking. He was like, "Oh well, he's with the stylist right now. We're on set. We're doing this. We're doing that," and he told me, he said, "Well, I'm his manager. I can just do the interview for him." I was like, "Whoa, I had never heard of that before." I'm his manager. I can just do the interview for him. Ask me the questions. I was like, whoa. So I realized that management really literally do. And I think ever since then, this guy, there was allegations that he was Molesting that guy, Marquez Houston. I believe there are allegations that he was, yeah. So I was around stuff and was not necessarily aware, but I saw certain stuff and I'd be like, that's strange. Like, how do you take the how do you have the audacity to say I'm so and so's manager and you just ask me? That means that person doesn't have rights over what they say, what they express. Those are not, their quotes. That's not their energy. That's not their information. And you've taken over their identity, like you're speaking for them. And I think that's really dangerous. And I declined. I forgot the name of the guy. But I declined to do that interview. I said, no, that's okay. If he's really busy like that, I'll just skip that. I just have to tell the editor that I can't get that interview. Or I can get it some other time, you know? But yeah, the women told me a lot of stuff. A lot of fucked up stuff. That their bodies were public property, in studios and hotel rooms. And you thinking, oh, she's straight. She this, she that, look at her hair. Look at this. Look at that. You know, you got people who are acting like they living their best life. It's all images. It's all images. It's all images. It's a lie. They have a lot of indignities that they go through. You know, they're being passed around. Sometimes one after the next, and then sometimes and it's not just a pass around. It's just exploitation. And they be popping in bottles and stuff. Had a lot of conversations about it. People just bigging up on your money. They know that the industry credit card, a deal is paying for that shit. So you got people that don't like you smiling in your face and popping bottles. They pop in 3 or 4 bottles of Mose, Alizé, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They looking you straight in your face. Thanks, bitch. Thanks, nigga. They're hounds. He's surrounded by hounds and people that eating good. They eating steak. Yeah, and people that do crazy shit. They'll just eat like piece of a steak and be like, I'm done. That's an $80 steak. And that person over there, you know, they're paying for that shit. So these entourages are usually full of narcissists, and they make you miserable as a star. And they have had those conversations too. You think that entourages are groups of friends who are cool with you and look up at you? No, you are a trick. You are a trick. And so a lot of those conversations about money, sexual exploitation, being assigned people you don't fucking like and they talk to you crazy and you don't have a choice. You think everybody wants the manager they have? They don't have a choice. It's been assigned to them, you know? And anyway, I didn't want to talk about the industry too much. But my point is that the experiences I had in that woke me up. That really woke me up. It just made me really realize that everything that you see that is supposed to glitter, it ain't gold. It's not gold. It's all facade. People are hurting, people are disconnected, people are isolated, and then they get in front of the cameras and they smiling and posing. Anytime you see people doing all that, I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all of them. But do recognize that a lot of people are not where they want to be, and they're definitely depressed because what they thought it was going to be, because they really believed those images too. I'm in the best fashion. I'm this, I'm that, and it's all just you took an average motherfucker and built something out of that person to exploit them. And this is, becoming more aware. People have become more aware of that in these years. But at that time, I don't recall that being common knowledge. So it was very jarring for me. It wasn't common knowledge that people are out here exploiting everybody. I think it was what after TLC, maybe much after TLC. That's when I'm trying to remember. No, maybe it was. Well, so many groups have come out since then and said they were exploited. Like, was it NWA? They talked about that guy having them working like dogs, and they didn't earn any fucking money, you know. So yeah, the industry exposure I had at a young age, it shaped my mind to understand in the Western world that yeah, women are definitely exploited in the industry for sexuality and stuff like that. And I also realized, yeah, you got to pay the piper. You got to pay the piper. That's all America's built on, you know. I can't stop saying that. No, you got to pay the piper. It's a cost to everything. There's nothing here that's easy, free, and lovely. It's just not. It's not. And so I go back to my original thought. Marriage is, a beautiful thing if you're willing to take on the responsibilities and take on the sacrifices. And the sacrifices to me are not they're not that big. You know, if you have a loving relationship, they're not really sacrifices. But I think the only real sacrifice I think that's significant for most people, at least for me, is just making sure that you confide in someone else before you make any decisions. Coming to a understanding and agreement, and understanding you shouldn't make moves or decisions without the other person's agreement because you're affecting someone else. You know what I'm saying? You don't just so for example, when you're single, you can just be like, man, fuck this job. I don't want this job no more. I don't even give a damn. You can do that when you're single. But when you're married, you have to have a conversation. Say, hey, listen, I'm not feeling this job. I want to switch jobs or I want to switch careers. My income may change. How would that affect us? Because we're a team. But it's not like even a sacrifice because having a team means you have support. I see it as support. I don't see that, but some people would call that a sacrifice. The fact that you just can't move as one by yourself, alone. You have to consult and get agreement and buy-in from someone else. I see the give and take of it. Like I said, you got to pay the piper. You want security? Well, it comes with a cost. Security comes from having two people that understand they're affecting each other, and neither one of them can act reckless or out of just a moment of thought. You can't be spontaneous. That's paying the piper. Understanding that security comes from creating security. You understand? You can't get security and not provide any. So yeah, your wife absolutely has to have a conversation with you before a career change, right? And you have to agree how we're gonna get this thing done, how we're gonna take care of bills, how we're gonna move forward, how we're gonna thrive, you know. Got to do all of that. Got to do all of that. So marriage is definitely a benefit, and it's too bad so many people gonna miss out. But I just think those people who don't absolutely already understand it, they just not marriage material anyway. That's my guess. They weren't meant for marriage anyway. People who are really like negative about marriage, you wasn't meant to be married. That's all. So I don't really regret it too bad for people when they're like really like pessimistic and negative. Oh man, shucks and this and that. Okay, yeah, yeah. You make sure you keep believing that because you are gonna be a self-fulfilling prophecy. And you're probably turned off by marriage because all the things that are required of a marriage, right? Like being able to navigate, negotiate, being able to communicate. You probably don't have those skills. So you wouldn't make it like 2 days. You wouldn't make it. But marriage is not hard. I think if you have two people who know what their duties are and they have common goals and they have a respect for each other, respect, and a call to duty. I don't think marriage is hard at all. Not at all. People kill me. Oh, marriage is so hard. It's not hard. Do you know how to be nice to somebody? Not be an asshole? Do you know that? Well, that's why it's easy. Just don't be an asshole. That's the number one rule of marriage. Don't be an asshole. That's all. Don't be an asshole. And you will be married for a long time. Be understanding, you know? Be an understanding person. And more than anything, you study a person. Oh, wow. Look at them two Delta planes crossing. Y'all see that? That was cool. I'm out here looking at planes. The Delta plane, a lot of these flights, they come down in this area. They come out of the sky from the high levels. They come down so I can plane watch from my house. Yeah, we got a lot of big trees around here. I'm really happy as fuck today. I am happy as fuck today. I got my plants over there drooping, but that's all right. They get some water. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. I might move them into the sun. Maybe they need a little more sun. Maybe that's it. I asked my husband to see what he think. They might need some more sun. Anyway, so I think I better get going. What time is it? It's 9:20, and he will probably be coming to get me shortly. So I'm like, maybe that's what I'm excited to get to ride in the truck, talk shit with my husband. Um, I asked him the other day. I said, "Are you going to renew my contract?" We always make a joke. We always make a joke with each other. Um, that this marriage year to year or 5 year to 5 year or whatever. Agreed. It ain't forever, forever. It's forever, forever. That's why it's a joke. But always ask him, "Are you going to renew my contract?" And he asked me, "You going to renew my contract?" We have that conversation. Um, and it's a joke, but at the same time, relationships and marriages are contractual. As long as you agree to the agreements and you stick by them, we got a marriage. So the joke is kind of a joke. Hmm, I'm in a really good mood today. What else am I gonna do? I got some watermelon to eat, so I'm gonna eat some watermelon and drink some chai and get my day started. All right, y'all have a good morning. Uh, for those of y'all who join me for harvesting and chat, appreciate it. And to Andre, I would look at the hobby fish. I'll check it out. You open my eyes up to growing fish in your own yard. Never thought of nothing like that. All right, y'all. Ashe, y'all have a good day. Appreciate you. Bye.